Greetings, family, friends. I know it's been a minute since I come before you to share some information, share some ideas. It's been a lot of changes, some major changes going on since the last time I stood in front of you and spoke. But I guess the biggest thing that I want to share, or the most important thing to keep in mind, is that you are powerful beyond measure. You came here for a reason, and my channel is dedicated to presenting ideas to you that's going to make you think about things just a little bit differently. Now, I don't necessarily want you to take my word for all of this, but I want you to, ponder on it yourself, go and do some research. Life is it's a miraculous thing. And I really got to thinking about that when I think about the life that my grandfather lived and all the things that he endured and experienced that he had to go through to get him to the point to where he was ready to leave this earth. And he left peacefully in his sleep. My granddaddy was really a great man. And I'm blessed to have him as such a good role model. But when I talk about life being a miracle, and your life being a miracle at that, it's that it takes an extraordinary amount of circumstances to go just right to get you here. Think about it. Your parents had to meet, their parents had to meet, their parents had to meet. It's a lot of things that had to be just right for you to get here. So that's like an example of God's will. Like, you're miraculous, and it's God's will that you're here. One of my favorite stories that my grandfather used to tell me is about when he met my grandmother again, when he was in high school. Now, they were classmates when he was like in first and second grade, and he said he used to chase her around the schoolyard. But then she moved to a different side of town, so she stopped going to the same school that he was in, so he didn't see her for a long time. The next time he saw her, they were in high school. Might have been like his junior or senior year. And he said he walked up to her and gave her what he thought was his best line. My grandfather walked up to her and said, "Where have you been all my life?" And my grandmother stuck her nose in the air and said, and walked away from him. Now, that is a pivotal moment, because had they continued to go their separate ways, I wouldn't be here. A whole lot of other people wouldn't be here either. But my grandfather said he thought about it, and he saw her again later on that night, and he changed his approach. Because, my grandfather was like a star athlete, well known in Savannah, very popular. So in his mind, he was like, "Man, I'm Walter Simmons. Let me go and make this lady's day." And in her mind, she was like, "I'm Mary Frank, and I don't care what you talking about." But it worked out in the end. They got together, and I got to be here. I got to be here to tell you that your life is a miracle. Everyone you see around you is a miracle as well. And I think we really need to take time out of our day to start treating each other better and seeing what we can do to help one another. Because ideas and changing your mind can really change the state of the world. And if you look at the way things are going now, we have so much built on superficiality. A lot of things that aren't real, trying to, it's like we're being pushed into a digital world. When the real world, or the physical that we exist in, can be very exciting and wonderful. Now, I looked up the meaning of miracle, or Merriam-Webster, and it says, "An effect or extraordinary event in the physical world that surpasses all known human or natural powers, and is ascribed to a supernatural cause. It's a wonder, a marvel." My grandfather also had stories of almost dying as a child, not listening to his mother, going off and swimming someplace and getting sucked down the drain. He didn't panic, he said. He said when he got sucked down the drain, he stuck his hand out, reached up and found the cover and pulled himself out and ran all the way home. But if things had gone just a little bit left, that would have been the end of Walter Simmons. And in turn, that would have been the end of me. Before it even got started. Now I want you to think about your own life, your own family members, your own ancestors. Think about all the things that they had to endure, or could have possibly had to endure, to get you here. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that you're here. So many other things could have gone wrong, but it did. Even if you're a parent right now, think about all the things that could have went different choices that you could have made that wouldn't have brought your children into this world. But you did make those choices. You did bring these children into the world. They are miracles. What are you going to teach them to do? What kind of example are you going to show to them? I think we're in a very pivotal time of our history as a species. And, we stand on the precipice. Either we can move on and go higher to what our true potential is, or we can stay stagnant and stay down here in the muck and the mire. I, for one, want to move on to what's next. I want to see my ultimate potential. And part of the reason that I'm making this video is for me to reach that potential. I think one of the most loving things that you can do if you have knowledge is to share it. If you have experiences, share it. Somebody can learn from it. So this is me sharing to you. If you have somebody in your life that you love, cherish them. Because love is it's all we're down here to do. It's to love one another. And there will be challenges put in the way to make that love difficult. But overcoming those challenges is what makes the love so grand. Because there's so many things in the physical that can come about, so many things that the ego brings about, so many challenges. But that's a good thing. Overcoming those challenges is quite wonderful. And my father told me about the first time he got to slow dance with a girl. And that's when he discovers, oh man, I really like women. I like girls. And I was just thinking about how different times are now. My father turned 67 today. And I can't remember the first time I slow danced with a woman. Generations were just different. Now I remember the first time I got twerked on. that was like a life-changing event. Having a woman throw some ass on me, that was fun. But I think that changes just our approach to women. Like they had a more romantic view, a more intimate view of women back in the day. But it's like as time is going on, we've moved away from that. So I think that makes it even more of a miracle that we are bringing life down to this world, even into these broken homes, these bad situations. We're still bringing life. We're still bringing miracles into the world. We need to get back to loving one another more purely. I heard Chuck Barr say something that stood out to me. He said, "What if we taught young men to build with women instead of just, chasing after them for sex? Imagine what we can do." If you think back to the civil rights movement, that was the black man and the black woman working together to bring change about. And powers that be, they saw that change. They was, we have to do something about this. So they had to drive a wedge between us. Anything that seeks to separate you from your woman, you need to do away with. Any action that seeks to separate you from your woman, you need to get rid of. Do the opposite. Because it's really, we came down here to be a pair, to work together. to work in harmony. We need each other. So I guess in closing, I want you to remember that you are a miracle. The people that you see around you are miracles. And we can do a lot more good if we remember that and love each other, respect each other. And I know that's not always easy to do in this world, especially in this social media generation. Here's another thing. Ask yourself how you're using your social media. What are you consuming through it? Is it helping to build you up? Or is it helping you to stay the same or bring you down? It's a question I had to ask myself very recently. How am I using my social media? Alright, I'll talk to y'all again soon. This was an impromptu video